Hello once again. Welcome to the People and Sports Show, your most influential sports personality profile show. Stay tuned as we meet some of the high-end personalities in Ghana. We'll take a quick break from our sponsors. Don't go away. People and Sports is proudly brought to you by Quan's Estate, your dream home. One great philosopher, Plato, once said, "You can discover more about a person in an hour of a play than a year of conversation." Life is all about creating balance within the rigid schedules that beset us daily. Today's guest is an eloquent speaker, international evangelist, who is creating waves in the charismatic world. Dr. Lawrence Tetteh oversees the World Miracle Outreach and has held several crusades around the world. HH helps us unravel the sports side of this charismatic giant.
Pleasure meeting you.
Bless you.
Heard a lot about you, and it's great meeting you finally.
We thank God.
What is it like growing around your favorite sports?
I think that everybody in Ghana or around the world that knows me very well knows my favorite sport is soccer. I had the privilege of playing soccer myself, and so it's been a joy. And coincidentally, my family from Bosu and the family from Dodowa all happen to be people who love soccer. And there was only one favorite team I loved, Accra House of Folk.
Okay, so I'll get you to sing the Accra House of Folk song, Arose, Arose. We'll sing it as and when the show runs.
That's right.
Talking about Accra House of Folk, the club is experiencing some dwindling fortunes this season. What is your take on the situation of the club at this moment?
Oh, I think that it's normal. We just have to put a few knots together, tidy up where knots are loose, and get things together, really. I mean, sports sometimes can be up and down, just like any normal thing in normal life. I don't think this is the first time that Accra House of Folk has gone through ups and downs. Neither would Accra House of Folk be the first team in Ghana or anywhere in the world that has gone through. You can imagine what Manchester is going through now. I mean, nobody knew few months back that Manchester will be going through this turbulence they are going through. So that's normal. But then the good thing about Accra House of Folk is that we have a slogan that never say die until the bones are rotten. And we have an arrogance that comes with it. Our slogan song in itself is an insult. It comes with numbers solid. Arose, arose, arose. Be quiet and don't be silly. We are the famous House of Folks. We never say die. So Accra House of Folk, we have an attitude, and I think that it has been one of the oldest teams. Remember, if you talk about Kumasi Asante Kotoko, you talk about Accra House of Folk. So even traditionally, it will be difficult for Accra House of Folk to really die. So it will be revived, and these are phases the team is going through, and it will come up.
Okay, so beyond Accra House of Folk, what role did you play in the game?
I think I've always been a midfielder. Of course, in our time, we were talking about forward, number 9, a striker, defense. Those were the things. Of course, these days we've had a lot of titles and teams, and we've been able to at least bring academic infrastructure into soccer. Okay. But those days, you have to be forward. You have to play number 9 or number 6 or number 5. Some of those positions and the jersey you wear even depicts the position you play. And so I remember playing number 6 at some stage, and then also playing number 9 at some stage. But the most important thing is that I had a privilege of playing soccer in school. Okay. Now, those days, our school...
What school is that?
Odogono Secondary School.
Okay. Okay.
Great to say. And we had a privilege to be the only team in Ghana that scored the Black Stars of Ghana. Now, in the mid-70s, because of most of the accolades and most of the successes we chalked and achieved, most great teams in Ghana, when they are going for African Cup of Nations or represent Africa or represent Ghana or represent some teams abroad, they want to use us for their curtain raiser and want to use us to practice. And the Black Stars of Ghana were going to play the African Cup of Nations in the 70s, and they decided to use Odogono Secondary School. And here we are, For us, it was like the World Cup. So we put everything and anything in, as young as we were at that time, and we defeated the Black Stars. Now the boys were so mindful, the Black Star team was so mindful, they didn't want to get wounded. We were playing with our zeal, our strength, and our everything, and it's on record.
Because you knew what was
that Great Osa is the only school team that has ever been able to score the Black Stars of Ghana. Wow. It was very exciting.
Well, that's a landmark.
Very exciting. But then the interesting thing was that we had most players also come from Odogono that ended up in the national.
That's very interesting to hear.
One of the prominent of them was Edward Ansan, who became one of the longest serving goalkeepers, and is still one of the coaches for most of the leading goalkeepers in the country.
But growing up around the game again, what were some of the challenges that you encountered?
I think if we knew what football would have come today, maybe our parents would have had a different thought. I was growing up as a very sharp student at that time. My parents wanted me to be a lawyer, and nothing but a lawyer. They thought those days football and games are for people who are dropouts and things. And of course, we were not allowed to have exceptional way. I remember when I was in preparatory school, in Harrow International School, we played Green Hill. I think at that time, Olabode Williams and Abedi Pele were in Green Hill. I think it's long now. I mean, it's in the mid-70s. And we happened to meet them for inter-schools soccer. And they scored us 7-1. We lost it, and Abedi Pele was in his element. Remember, he was a teenager at that time, and he could play. And their team was such a great team that Green Hill filled them. So I've known somebody like Abedi Pele very long time. Of course, we didn't really relate as close friends, but we have a relationship that goes a long way. And then I dove my heart for him. He did well. He changed the face of soccer. He made people realize that you can still be intelligent, still be able to attain an academic standard and still play soccer. I always admire him, even at the time when he moved to Tamale United. I was not privileged. My parents would not allow me. I mean, you have to go to school, you have to be a lawyer, and that is where success is. And today, if you look back, I think that we cannot shy away from the fact that Abedi Pele is doing very well. Very well. And it has even impacted on his children and the entire family.
What were your fun memories playing the game?
I think the greatest fun really was traveling across the length and breadth of Ghana to play other school teams. It was a trip away from home. When you sit in the coach, and some of the songs were very wild songs, very heavyweight songs, in fact, profane German songs. But my favorite song that I learned from school was Kewo Shejeme E Ba Fe Gbeye. 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 It was such a moral song, but I think that it also brought togetherness and unity. We got to know ourselves. We went to the bathrooms together. We bathed as a group. We changed shorts as a group. I mean, those days, anybody at all can wear any size. And the most important thing is when you see yourself done in the school jersey and tracksuit. Even though it was hot, we're so happy to put on that long, thick tracksuits, and it was just fun. I think that for me, soccer taught me how to live outside of home and still live with people as though they are part of your life. We had the privilege of traveling to most of the regions. I remember my first time in Tamale was through schools. We went to play Tamale United, and it's a big deal. And our sports master at that time was called Willie Williams, Pa Willie. Very strong man, and you have to sit in the coach, and we drove all along from Accra. And of course, we were very young that time, but I remember it took us virtually the whole day. We got there late in the house, and we had to stay in student hostels, and it was fun. We didn't have beds to sleep on, but you are just happy the fact that you traveled.
So do you still make time to enjoy your favorite game?
Most people have even asked those questions, that whether I have time to watch. I don't just watch soccer, I still play soccer. If you had football here, at least I can play totals, and I can play nothing less than 100. I visited a friend in the morning to pray with them, and the boys were playing soccer around, and I stopped, took the ball, and these guys were excited. Oh, Dr. Lawrence Tetteh can play this one. And by the time I realized, most people in the community have surrounded me, but it is fun. I think it keeps you fit. Of course, my stamina is not as good as it used to be. I'm not, if you can say this is great. But at least every now and then, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm able to play. Where I live in the UK, in the Barnet area I live, the 3rd division in Barnet, fortunately it's not very far from my house. So sometimes every now and then when they see me there, they know Dr. Tetteh has come to practice, train with them, and it keeps you fit.
Which players really excited you?
I think for some time now, Ghanaians as a whole, and I will not take myself out of it, we've concentrated on the international scene much more than the local scene. You'll be surprised, I know Black Stars very well, and I know the team of the Black Stars, and I know the players personally. I've had a chance to have personal relationship with them. I mean, Michael Essien, Baby Jet, Asamoah Gyan. Michael Essien will come into my hotel room when I'm around, and coincidentally, most time when they're on camping, I end up around those places. So we get on very well. When I meet the day are you, we have a slogan together, it is possible. We got many years ago, I think about 5 years ago, and I told them it was possible. So anytime the day are you miss me, the first thing we say is that it is possible. When I hear it is possible, I know the day are you is somewhere and they are seeing me. So it's fun, and I think that we have very young, talented ones. They've had more privileges than the older ones had. Soccer is not the days of Kwesi Appiah and the days of Mahama. It's not the days of Mohamed Polo. It is the days that we can say people are liberated and open. Look at the privileges these boys have now, the sort of financial breakthrough they have, and they are able to even get their own equipment to train, and that keeps them very fit. It also keeps them very focused, and I must say, soccer has come a long way.
Great sportsman, great sports fan. Can you beat his energy? Next, people and sports news update. But before that, let's take a quick break. Welcome back. Now let's look at the sports updates for today's people and sports. Sources from the finder hazard that Kwesi Nyantakyi, GFA president, may be forced to drag some media personnel and houses to court for defamation if the vicious attacks on his personality do not stop. Former Ghana coach Milovan Rajovic has expressed shock over his exclusion from the 5-man shortlist to be considered for vacant Black Stars coaching job. Nenad Glisic, who worked with Milo as an interpreter during his 2-year spell as Black Stars coach, says the Serbian trainer is shocked the select committee overlooked him. USA Swimming on Monday suspended Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian ever, for 6 months and said he won't be on next year's US team at the World Championships. The organization said Phelps, who was charged with driving under the influence last week in Maryland, had violated its code of conduct. Thank you for making time for the sports update. Now, we've been speaking to Dr. Lawrence Tetteh, who has been regaling us about his early years in sports. HH will take us through the rest of the conversation. Stay tuned.
Let's now take a journey into the future of Ghanaian sports. What's your take on sports in general in Ghana, the future of sports?
I think that we have a long way to go. We've done some good things. We've chalked some good results. In the area of boxing, we've done some good things. And of course, sports in general, soccer seems to have dominated everything. But I think we are giving room now. I had a meeting with the Foreign Affairs Minister and the Minister for Sports about Ghana going to Hungary to train in swimming and water pool. It was a very interesting water pool. And because of my stint and because of my relationship with Hungary, I was invited as one of the special guests of honors. And I just thank God that this is what we are going to. Of course, I've not seen big swimming pools here in Ghana yet. But if we are going to get into water sports in Hungary, then it means we are bringing something home. So there's room. I believe too that the vision is opening now. We are widening up our scope where people are realizing that it's not just in soccer that we can excel. We have even boxing. We have the netballs. We have even today, we even have the physical challenge and amputees football clubs. And so a lot of things can be done. What we need to do is to learn from people who have gone ahead, learn from other countries' experience, and see how we can tailor-make something for Ghana that will best fit our community. But I believe there's great future for Ghana sports. And I see the way many years ago, most of our sportsmen were people who were not given to education. They even lacked the language, they lacked the flair, and so the confidence was not there when they made the international community. Today, if you look at most of the people we have in our various sports disciplines, they have the language, they can communicate, they are not limited. I was listening to Mohamed Polo speak the last time on TV, and I sent a text that this is beautiful. I was so excited.
He's one of those footballers who could.
Mohamed Polo speaks very good English. But then, this day and age, look at the teams we have too. The guys are speaking very well. When you speak to them, apart from those who want to shy away from the microphone, they speak very well. And that is good. That gives us the international flair as well.
It's encouraging.
Very.
I wondered why in Europe they make use of their ex-footballers, even when they leave the game. But
I think we are getting there. I mean, the thing is continuity and longevity. In the past, we've had expatriates to come and control what we do in soccer. They just get into the people by commendations and recommendations. But today we have locals, so I think there is a future.
What strategies now should we put in place to ensure that other sports could grow as much as soccer has grown?
I think that we should know that not everybody can be a footballer. Not everybody can be a boxer. But everybody, regardless of your race, creed, sex, there is one sport or the other that you can be very conversant with. And so if we open it up like that, it will give people the chance to be able to play. I mean, many years ago, I didn't used to play lawn tennis until I went to Europe in the 80s. And I realized that lawn tennis was another game that I could get myself involved in besides soccer. And so I got into it. And in a few months, a few years' time, I started playing it at a very high level. So we just need to get into it. And remember, sportsy people are very healthy people. So if we can get into sports, the reason why most of our young guys are sick and dying unnecessarily is because people don't check their heart. People don't check their body. People don't train. Their blood is stained. We need to check our heart. And remember, whoever you are, you can easily get a heart problem. But if you train, it keeps the heart bumping and the blood flowing, and that in itself, exercise in itself is one of the most therapeutic things that every individual should know.
You were talking about lawn tennis. Where do you expect to see lawn tennis in the future of Ghana sports?
I think that the sports ministry has a lot of responsibility. The onus doesn't just fall on the sports minister. Now, there's a problem we have here in Ghana that I don't like. People think government should do everything. Ministers should do everything. The leaders should do everything. I've always said this, that we all have a collective responsibility. We are all part of the government. We are all part of the nation. We are all part of the building process. And if we can all contribute our quota, we'll have a better Ghana. Everybody in every area of your life, see how you can contribute to the community. And Ghana will have a better sports, and we will all be happy.
What's your biggest point in sports in Ghana generally?
Mine goes back to 1982. African Cup of Nations. Adolf Amma, whom I've known very well, was playing in the midfield, I think at that time. He has donned on the number 6 jersey. And he got wounded. And they brought a teenager by the name Abedi Pele.
I know that.
And that was my greatest fun. I have that memory. You know, we seem to have been around the same age, and I loved it. I loved it. That I loved. And it also gave me that assurance that it doesn't matter what your age is. And he excelled that day. He really excelled. Now, I was not happy Adolf Amma was wounded or was hurt, but I was happy that somebody stood up, a teenager, he excelled, and that was the thing. That was when Abedi really became Abedi. So I believe we over the years, we've had great sportsmen. We have countless of them when it comes to soccer. From the Osei Kofi's time, to Mama Akwa's time, to Mohamed Polo's time, to Beye's time, also Fie's time, or Pokunti. I mean, some of those great times, and even people that we came to meet, Baba Yara and others, they were great inspiration. But the most important thing is that God has also raised people these days that can take inspiration from them. And we just need to learn from the past.
Give me your best 11 ever in the history of Ghana football.
That will start from people like Osei Kofi, Robert Mensah, people like Baba Yara, some in our days like Mohamed Polo. You can never talk about soccer and forget about him. And I like the way he's building up this. And then remember, in this day and age, we still cannot forget Abedi Pele. Abedi Pele and a gentleman called Tony Yeboah, they stood out very well. But then our time now, our young men that are coming, the baby jet, you can't throw him away. If I remember, he was the first ever person to make history for Ghana. He scored the first ever goal for Ghana at the World Cup, the first World Cup. He was very young then. Michael Essien has made his time. Sule Ali Montar. He is, I don't know why people think he's arrogant. He's such a nice person. Now, if you meet Sule Montar and you talk to him one-on-one, he's very respectful, very, very respectful. The guy is a Muslim, but if he hear you pray Christian prayer, he stands and says Amen. And I respect him for that. The up-and-coming ones like Achu and Dede Ayew and Jordan are powerful guys to look up to. But we also have, remember, we've imported back our son. We've grabbed him back, Kevin Prince Boateng, who is also doing very well. He sees more Ghanaian, and I believe his younger brother is regretting that he didn't take the challenge. One Black Star player that I've always loved, that I think has been unfortunate, like Kingston did so well, helped the Black Star to win all the matches, helped them to get into the first World Cup. And because we did not calculate things very well, we did not give him the chance to play the World Cup. For Lai Kingston, who introduced Stephen Appiah to me in these very premises. These very premises we are standing on. He brought Stephen Appiah, came to introduce it to me, and we had a very good time. And those guys are people who just take the phone and call me, and we have sometimes good conversation. You know, Stephen Appiah swims a lot.
Yeah, I know.
He swims very well. And I also like swimming. I mean, water swimming in the pool. You know, even if you forget about it at a sports, it's also very medicinal. Swimming exercises every part of your body. And times when I'm very tired, when I've had a very stressful meeting, I'm very tired, all I need to do is to jump into the pool, and then, but as you paddle your legs, it refreshes you. And so I think it is one thing that we should go. We should build good swimming pools and make sure it's very hygienic.
But do you think it should be introduced into the school curriculum?
I think that the issue about sports really is not about the crowd. It's about the individual. It's the individuals that makes the team. So the individual discipline matters a lot. Even on the football field and pitch. Of the 11 players you have on the field, this day and age, we pick out one that will make the man of the match. So how you excel as an individual depicts what your future should be. And it's very important that we encourage everybody to excel. Now, if you individually excelling, then as a team, you have a good material.
Hungry for more? Well, make a date with us same time, same station next week. Wondering who our next guest is? Well, stick around and you'll find out. Stay alive.